So I should do a sort of hello to everybody who's seen me for the second time, or maybe the first time. Hi, my name is Sammy Fish. I work with Aksys Games as a content producer slash streamer slash guy who can do streaming technology well and press buttons ish, sort of thing. I've been working with them since September now, so not too long, but it's been a really fun ride, and I love working with Aksys, so this has been a treat and a half. I am new to the otome genre. This is something that I have picked up as I've started working with Aksys Games, because my background personally, as someone who's been on camera, is a commentator. I am a fighting game commentator. So I've worked with Aksys Games before on games like Under Night and Birth, which is one of my favorite fighting games of all time. Honestly, it's super duper fun. I love that game to death, and that's why we do multiple streams for Under Night. And so that's sort of my background, my talking background in front of a camera, my talking background in streams. How I know Aksys Games is through that. Other things that I like shooters. I really like shooters. I've been playing shooters for legitimately my entire life. I've been playing fighters my entire life. But, my love for romance shows and, rom-coms and stuff like that has bled into now otome games. And I think it worked. I think I have a lot to learn about popular voice actors, the people who've worked on these games, like, producers, directors, writers, all of that stuff. I do studying, but, I can only go so much from experience from you guys who've had way more time with the genre. But people who've been in the stream have been very kind to me. Anne as well. Barry Crepes, thank you. Anna has been a huge source of information for me. Every time I have something to talk about, I go to her. Every time I'm like, oh, I had this thing happen in otomes that I'm playing, I get to talk to her about it, and she's just been like the freaking nicest. She's the nicest person. I love talking to her, and being able to work with her on all the otome games has been super duper fun. So honestly, the best part about it is that I am joining you guys on a ride, and you guys have been very nice to me. So thank you. Honestly, thank you so much for being so kind to me as I dive into a genre that is not my sort of forte. But as we go along, hopefully, I grow into it with you guys. Enough spieling about me. I just wanted to do an introduction. I expected that some people have followed me on Twitter after the show on Friday, and then saw me start talking about soccer or football everywhere else in the world, and they went, what the heck's happening? Why isn't he talking about otome games? Hey y'all, how's it going? Welcome to another edition of Thursday's Weekly Aksys Stream. My name is Sammy Fish, and we're gonna go over some trailers today. Woo! I behind the curtain a little bit. I had to tease you guys a little bit on the 1926. All right, I had to. It was just so easy, and even it didn't go as well as I wanted it to. I had more planned to say in my head, to tease you guys a little bit more, but I was just getting like so excited. I was like, oh, they're gonna lose it, and then I just did it like way early. I just did like a one line tossed into it, and it was fun to see. Yes, it was my idea to tease you guys about 1926. So I'm, first of all, sorry. So I have the Anne videos going to be up sometime this weekend, and so I have just the Anne video, me and Anne talking, cut up, just the two of us. Right? And it's like a little bit of an extended cut. Me and Ann talked about it'll be in the very beginning, and then all the goofy stuff's at the end, so you guys don't have to stay through the whole thing. But if you guys like me being a huge dork about shows that I like, and Ann and I talking about voice actors and stuff like that, then that'll be for you. Being a huge dork is why I come here. That makes me feel slightly better. So this one's Rico London. So this is a game I've actually played a lot on my own. Yeah, so you are right. Like, it is sort of like a Max Payne sort of style. Like, it's supposed to be an action flick type of game, where you're sort of diving into screens and stuff like that, and doing shots on the fly. So it's supposed to make you feel like a badass. What's really cool about it is that if you guys aren't shooter players like I am, I've played shooters for over 15 years, so I have the hand-eye coordination, I have mouse and keyboard down. But if you don't have that, then the slow-mo really helps you out, and it, you know, lets you pick your shots and lets you understand that or do that pretty easily. But if you are like me and you have like FPS experience, then it helps you sort of like make decisions like really quickly. You're like sort of picking where everybody is, and you're making decisions on the fly, like where everything is when you breach in through the doors. And I think that becomes like it becomes pretty fun. How's it going, Patrice? Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, the trailer, you're absolutely right. The trailer is just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. You know what's cool too? Is that they do colors, like I'm gonna bring this up when we do Variable Barricade, but they do colors in a very, very bright, poppy way, but still different from Variable Barricade. I think that's so cool. But in that talk, I talked to Anne about how I already got myself very, very excited for Soiree on accident. Because when Anne and I decided to do the video, I was like, I have to study up, and I have to get I have to at least bring something to the table for Anne. I can't have Anne do all the work, and then she ended up doing all the work. But I started doing some studying, and so I started like looking over voice actors. I started looking at like the work that it done, like the art styles done by Saito, who's done Diabolic Lovers and Norn. I did not spoil myself. I would be very sad if I did that, but I didn't, which is very good. So I just have, you know, the story synopsis that I've had to read through, and what Anne has told me, you know, as a story synopsis, but that's pretty much it, really. So, for going down, I wanted to just talk about the voice actors, because a lot of the voice actors are actually, like, super duper good, and a lot of them have been on other Aksys titles on top of it. So Akaza is voiced by Toshitsugu Matsuoka, sorry. The voice actors are incredible, yeah, who's done Chaos and Under Night. Who's done Sota and Charade Maniacs, but I'm going to tell you that the thing I am crazy, like the coolest thing about him is that that he's Inosuke from Demon Slayer. If you guys have watched that, Inosuke is the character, the really pretty character that wears a boar's head for a mask, and Izumi Miyamura, who's Mia in Horror Mia. And if you know anything about me, oh god, like if you'll know this very quickly if you guys. I love romance shows. I love romance shows. So if you guys love romance shows like I do, Horror Mia is like. I love that description for Inosuke. Right, Barry. It's like, you know what's crazy is like Inosuke, the voice that Inosuke is and the voice that like Miyamura is in Horror Mia are like so different from each other. They're so different from each other, and it's like, man, when you get voice actors like that, you're like, wow, they're so talented. So we had Tomokazu Sugita, who has also played Sally in Bustafellows, which is, I think, just got recently released as a localization, if I recall correctly, or something like that. But also played Yusuke in Persona 5, and had played Joseph Joestar in JoJo's, which is kind of a huge freaking deal, you know, just a little bit. But the biggest thing for me is he plays Kabakura, the orange-haired redhead character from Watokoi. And like I said, I like rom-coms, so I love that show to death. And yeah. All right, then we have Riku, who was Nobunaga, or who's voiced by Nobunaga Shimazaki, who plays Mahito in Jujutsu Kaisen, which is the patchwork character who plays with souls. who is in Fruits Basket as Yuki Soma, who has ended up being one of my favorite character in the Fruits Basket remake. Oh my god, it was so good. Okay, then we have Shiro Tokisada Amaksa. I am very bad at devoicing. I'm sorry. Who's voiced by Yuto Uemura. Sorry. So of fame will be from who's Thorfinn in Vinland Saga, which is a very popular show from like 2 years ago at this point, which was super duper good. That was a really, really fun show. And Amajiki, or Sun Eater from My Hero Academia, who is the character who can change into the things that he eats and is a super duper fun character. I love him. Then we have Yosuke, who is voiced by Yuma Uchida, who is like, I'm just gonna go ham right now, so please bear with me when I say all of these, because there's a lot I love from this guy, who is Megumi in Jujutsu Kaisen. He is Shinya Yukimura, who is from a romance show from like 2 years ago, 2 years ago, which is called Science Fell in Love, So I Tried to Prove It. A very, very weird romance show, but still very, very sweet. Ash Lynx from Banana Fish, which I think is a freaking phenomenal show, and to a degree is a romance show. He's also in Fruits Basket, and last but not least, he's Kyosoma in Fruits Basket. He's redhead, orange head catch. Banana Fish is my favorite. It's such a good show. It's a very difficult show to watch at times because of the themes, but like difficult as in it's very heavy. But what a good show. What a good show. And then last for Olympia Soiree, which is a 6-boy affair, is Himika from voiced by Shun Horie, who does 3 of my favorite shows. 3 of my favorite shows in the last while, which is Hacker. Played Hacker in Akudama Drive. Same thing with Enta, who played one of the main characters in played Enta in Sarazanmai, and Hiroto in My Roommate is a Cat, which is a very, very sweet show about a writer who doesn't like being around people and sort of gets to accept people as it goes along by taking in the stray cat. What do we got next? Undernauts. So I did a huge playthrough of Undernauts onto the stream. It'll be up on YouTube in just a little bit. It's a sort of a dungeon crawler in the style of the Wizardry, which I know of as a series, but I have not played myself. Wizardry is very famous. Is there a mapping system or a movement system like Etrian Odyssey? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Sorry, I have not played Etrian Odyssey. If you mean something like using like the map in order to fast travel and move around and stuff like that, then yes. I think maybe Taka from Aksys talked to me about it. He said it was very similar, or Etrian Odyssey took that sort of style of mapping from the older dungeon crawler style games, and there's like this idea of like drawing a map and stuff like that. There's nothing like that specifically. But it is more of like you have to fill in the map as you go along. Experience games usually have auto mapping, so you're not mapping it yourself. Gotcha. Okay. Like that. Yes. So it does auto map. It does auto map. But you do have to fill in the map by being in those squares. It's time for the banger. This Seiyu game. When you look at the cast of voice actors, you definitely would say that. Like we were saying in chat, like this is a voice actor extravaganza. Oh my god. Hey, we're talking about the upcoming games? Yeah, we're gonna talk about all of them. We're going through them one by one. We got a lot of time today. Going through all the characters, we have Tokisugu. I know that's not how you're supposed to pronounce that. Tokusuru Semi. Like I said, I'm bad at devoicing, especially the Su sound, so please bear with me. Who's voiced by Toshiyuki Toyonaga, who is Orlok from Pio Fiore. Orlok. Oh boy, I'm doing great. Orlock. There you go. Thank you. I know him personally, and I think a lot of people else would know him from voicing Yuri from Yuri on Ice, which is yeah, what a great show. Yuri from Yuri on Ice. That's a super duper duper good show. Which blends my love for both sport animes and romance shows. Very good. Yeah, Yuri on Ice is so great. And then we have the demon character, the demon-looking character with the horns, Akuro, voiced by Tatsuhisa Suzuki, who he's going to be in Love or Pretend as Yukito Senna, who is going to be, we're going to go through that in just a second. But also recently an anime has played, has played Draken in, what's it called? Draken in Tokyo Revengers, which is a show that's happening right now. And Anos Voldergard. I swear I practiced all of these before I got on camera. And then we have Shirasuke, who I think is the Kitsune, if I recall correctly. Who's the fox boy. Oh, right, I forgot to mention Takahiro Sakurai, which is his name. He had played Ayame Soma, who is Yuki's brother from Fruits Basket. Just like, what a great character. I love that character. Just like incredibly loud, bombastic, and flashy, and just hilarious. Did a tremendous job on that. He was so good at Fruits Basket. I like it. Just really like 100% made that character with his voice acting. It was great. The range, right? The range is crazy. Like if you know Ayame from Fruits Basket, and you know Giyu from Demon Slayer, you have like this huge gap. You have a character that's like completely just through the roof in terms of like excitement, and then the other way around just goes like very calm character that doesn't say too much. So we have Hira from Hira. We have Yusuke, or voiced by Yusuke Kobayashi. He's just a really like interesting set of characters. He plays Kaname from Darwin's Game, which is a very fun sort of take on like a battle royale style anime. And probably most famously has played Senku in Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone's a pretty popular show, but Senku's Dr. Stone's also really good. And then played one of my favorite shows that's gonna get a second season very soon. He's played Sadao Mao, who's the sort of the Satan character in what's it called? Devil is a Part-Timer. Oh, I love this track. It's just so reminiscent of Turn of the Millennium Capcom, where they were just so down with doing jazzy rap, very beat heavy music. Oh, it's so good. It's, yeah, like I said, it looks super duper fun, right? Oh, it looks so good. Basically, this is very much a love letter to Turn of the Millennium fighting games. That sort of mark between around 97 and 2001, where just some of the best games that you will have ever seen in your entire life came to fruition just through sheer amount of just ingenuity, just willingness to do something new and fresh and not being afraid to put out something different. The competition that was created from two of the strongest fighting game creators in the world with Capcom and SNK. You'll see a lot of references to not only those two, but you'll see references to a lot of other fighting games. Obviously, you have the sort of the king-looking wrestler character from Tekken. Yeah, just like you can tell, man, you can tell the sounds like Third Strike. Character like sort of looks like one of the main characters looks like a modernized Ryu, which I think is a really, really neat idea, right? Very much like you can understand like there's hints of Garo in there, Mark of the Wolves. You can just tell like the people who are making this game love fighting games, and it's very easy to see. And so I'm very excited for when I get my hands on this game. I'm gonna love it. I know I'm gonna love it. This one's for me. They have an actual colors for the game. That's why the colors are so striking. I mentioned this when we first announced it after NGPX, but I was like, wow. Wow, the colors look so good. Remember when I was when we were first go over this, I spent so much time talking about the colors because I was like, wow, the colors look so good. And then I'm glad you guys also agree. Oh, it's just, yeah, like I said, I mentioned at the beginning when I did a little bit of my introduction, I love rom-coms. So I am here for this. So one of the big, Hibari Tojo, who's the main protagonist slash anti-bachelorette, she played, what I know her from is that I actually didn't know a lot of like where she came from, but the voice actor Saki Fujita, she played Elena in Street Fighter 4, which was one of the characters that I had played when she had came out. Elena is a super duper fun, very like happy, flamboyant character. She loves having fun. She doesn't take anything too seriously. Even her fighting play style is very fluid and has a lot of motion to it. It's very, very unique even in fighting games. And she's playing a different character in this. She's playing a character that does not want to be in this romantic position. So this one's got 4 main boys. One of the characters, Ichiya Mitsumori, who is voiced by Kosuke Toriyumi, who has played maybe like 1,000 characters in Otome games. He's played Shu, Sakamaki, and Diabolic Lovers. He's played Rei, Mikuni, and All Aksys Malice. I mean, if you want to go farther than that, you want to talk about like all of the top level voice acting roles that he's got. Persona 3, Junpei. He's played Kiba, who's the dog character in Naruto. Plays Nash in Street Fighter. Played Gordeau in Under Night, who's if you've played Under Night or heard it, he's like a wonderfully voice acted character. Yeah, just like look at the slew of characters. And then we have Taigi, Itsurugi, who is voiced by Nobuhiko Okamoto. A very, very, very famous voice actor. Has also just played a tremendous amount of great characters. Probably most famously nowadays, he's probably most famously played Bakugo from My Hero Academia. But inside of Otome games, he's played Manabu Soda and All Aksys Malice, Takumi and Charade Maniacs, Hansel and Code Realize, and then probably most famously for all of you folks, Yang and Pio Fiore, who is not my favorite character, I'll be honest, but cannot be denied as a really, really strong voice acted, like extremely strong voice acted character. Next character, Shion Mayuzumi, who is played by Kenji Nojima, who is Tuxedo Mask, which is cool. we got Tuxedo Mask in the Otome game that we're gonna play. That's so sick. I grew up with Sailor Moon, so I'm a big I'm very stoked for that one. But yeah, so he's Tuxedo Mask, at least in the latest in the latest movies as well. But yes, he played AG in Banana Fish, which is Ash's love interest. Also does a really good job as playing in a playing opposite to Ash, because they're supposed to be very different characters and they come together. So, and then lastly we have Nayata Yagami, who is voiced by Shimono. Yeah, I mean, I understand because there's like a tremendous amount of good roles that he's done. Zenitsu from Demon Slayer, even if you don't like that character, you can't argue that like the voice acting is like something else, because that character is that style of character is not easy to do. Like, not easy to do at all. It makes me very excited to have these games on stream and start talking to you guys about it. I'm very excited for that. So I am looking forward to, and I was mentioning this with Anne, but I will mention it to you guys as well. And I think I've mentioned this before. Almost every otome title that was announced before right now came at a weirdish time for me in terms of like my position with Aksys. So this will be the first time I start playing a game with you guys at the same time, you know? And I'm super excited for that, because that means we're going to jump into stream and play the game, and we're going to be able to talk about it together. But I'm going to be able to play this one fresh with the rest of you guys at the same time. And I think that's super duper fun. Like, I think that's going to be really fun for us to, one day we're going to have a stream where we're going to say, okay, we're all done with the game. We're going to do a spoiler stream or spoiler talk and just all jump into a chat and just talk about the game. And I think that's going to be super duper fun. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I really am looking forward to that one. Looks really good. So it's another like sort of it's a really interesting premise. I think if you guys were like in the stream chat with me, or in chat with me, I think, well, it's like 2 Cafe Enchanté runs. I think we had talked about it, like 2 Cafe Enchanté runs. I talked about a show or an otome game that we were making up as we were going along, right? Remember we were talking about this otome game where we're like, we're going to make an otome game, right? We're going to write an otome game that is a otome game set in the development studio of an otome game. And then we had all these ideas for characters where we're like, oh, the main character is going to be this, and then the writer is going to be this style of character. And then like we started talking about Love or Pretend, and I was like, they stole my idea. They stole my idea. This one has more, what's it called? Fruits Basket characters, because one of the characters, Kazuma Kamikumo, who's voiced by Makoto Furukawa, is Hatsuharu Soma, or Haru, I mean, sorry, who is the cow in Fruits Basket, who's the sort of the character that has the light and the dark side, very calm or very crazy. But most people will know him Saitama. He's the main character in One Punch Man. That's a pretty big one. But he had also like a lot of roles in otome games. He's Alan Melville in Cupid Parasite. He's Mei Dazai in Charade Maniacs. He is Adage from Steam Prison. So it's like just crazy amount of titles for him in terms of otomes as well. Obviously, you know, having a long list of great roles in anime as well. So we have Yukito Sena, who's voiced by Tatsuhisa Suzuki, which I had mentioned earlier, with Dairoku. He's played Akuro in Dairoku. So just like a little bit of extra mentions. He had played that, he played Noctis in Final Fantasy 15, which is a pretty big game. But for the most part, you know, a lot of the same things. Like, I think that Draken was like a big name for me, so I'm very much excited for that one. So we got Harami Makino, who's voiced by Kengo Kawanishi, who plays a lot of really good characters, but for the most part, like, they seem to be not main characters, not I don't want to say not main characters, but like he's like never plays any of the top 3 characters in a lot of the animes that I've watched. So for me, this will be like the first thing that I'm going to consume of his that is going to be this sort of like main role. If you want to talk about main characters, we go to Riku Nishijima, who is played by Tomoaki Maeno, who has been in a few otome games. He's been in a few otome games. I was very surprised to hear his name, you know. When I started doing a lot of my studying, I really was surprised that I've been playing this guy for a really long time. He's Kyo in King of Fighters. I've played this character for a really long time. Keita Ibana from Charade Maniacs, Keisuke Sanjo from All Aksys, Lupin from Code Realize, Kino from Diabolic Lovers, and then the upcoming, we'll talk about it in a second, Paradigm Paradox, plays Tojo Kunitaka. Next one, we have Echiro Asagi, who is voiced by Toshiyuki Morikawa, who is another Fruits Basket character, and Kazuma, who is seen in that show as being one of the sort of main characters in the 2nd and 3rd season. Like I said, I'm very excited for this game. I think that the voice acting cast is crazy, and I was mentioning it with Anne. The producer is Awada Shinobu, who worked on Hakuoki, Colorless Malix, and upcoming Variable Barricade. He's Leon too? That's right. I try my best to stick to like 3 or 4 roles for the most part, but you're right. He was also Leon. Yeah, just so, you know. You've heard him. You've heard his voice before, probably. You've probably heard his voice before. All right. I'm going to tell you, this one's reception has been the most surprising for me, but I'm super excited for it. This one's very interesting. Wow, that intro song is that intro song is really good. It's very different from the rest of them, but it's like, ooh, this is really good. But yeah, so Kimiyuki. So the reason why I want to say that I'm mostly surprised about this one is because for the most part, when we started talking about this game and started talking about localizing it, it was like one of the newest games. Like when I was talking to Anne about it, she was like, yeah, this game got released in July in Japan. And I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of a crazy turnaround, no? And that was crazy. I was like really, really surprised. I was like, wow, everybody's already so excited for this game. And if you guys look at this playlist, so we have the trailer playlist of all of the All Aksys games. It ended up being the most watched trailer outside of Blazing Strike, which is crazy. I was really, really surprised. Kobayashi Yusuke. But we talked about Tomoaki Maeno. So this is already like I said, we've already talked about 2 of these characters. So they're going to be characters that we had in previous games or games that will be announced. One of the characters, Yoichiki, will be voiced by Yamashita Seichiro, who is from the recent set of anime from last season is Raiden, one of the characters in 86. One of the other characters, Kuga Genjuro, will be voiced by Sato Takia, who is Cesar Zappelli in JoJo's, which is kind of crazy, right? We have Kinji, who's voiced by Namikawa Daisuke. I'm getting ahead of myself. But very famous. So he famously his characters, he's Takeru in Colorless Malice, he's Mamoru in Charade Maniacs, but personally I know him for Odakawa in Odd Taxi, and Yu Narukami from Persona 4, which is a very popular series. But what was one of the one of the most surprising shows I had seen in very long time was Odd Taxi. It's one of those, I think, if you like anime in general, I think it's a must watch. All Aksys is a 13 episode wonderful watch. It's freaking incredible. It's so good. One of the best animes I've ever seen. And obviously helmed by by Namikawa Daisuke, because he has the most lines in the whole show, and it does a phenomenal job at playing a very, very specific character of, like, I don't want to spoil it, obviously, but my word, it is a very specific character. It is a very weird voice to nail down because of the character, and it was perfect. Like, I don't know how to say, like, he did a perfect job. The character, show hinged on this character, and he did a perfect job. So very excited for his casting in this game. We have Otaro, voiced by Saito Soma, who is one of the characters in Gridman. If you watch that Anne video with an eye, you'll know that I like that the Gridman series quite a bit. I like Gridman and Dynazenon from Trigger. I think they're both freaking amazing shows. I love them so much. I have spent a lot of time thinking about them and how wonderful they are. But Saito Soma has also played Londrakia for Under Night, which is the very newest character. Wow. Pentagon? A 5-sided shape? 5? My Otome game? So is it like... Do they just go like... I don't know, you guys have been playing... I think you guys have been playing Otome games for a little bit longer than I have, right? So you guys are gonna have to clue me in. Did they just go to like the Banger Factory for openings and they just pick one out from the lot? Like, when I was looking up the credits for this game, I was like, why is there like 30 main character credits? I don't understand. And like half of them are women? That seems really weird. I assumed it to be a mistake. Honestly, when I first looked at it, I was like, well, this just has to be a mistake. There can't, like, it's an Otome game, you know? Like, you can only have so many main characters. And then Anne and I talked, and she's like, no, like, come on. These people who do the casting and the crediting and stuff like that, they know more than you, Sammy. You don't have to be so stupid. And I was like, you're right, Anne. And obviously would not say anything that mean to me, but she probably should have, honestly. So, but there's also like another big reason why I'm really excited for this one is Inoki Junya is going to be one of the main characters with Araki Miyaha. He played Yuji Itadori in Jujutsu Kaisen, the main character in Jujutsu Kaisen. Obviously, that's a pretty big role. People really like Jujutsu Kaisen. I love that show, so I don't blame them. But also for me, like my excitement came from the character, him voicing the main character in Dynazenon, which is Yomogi. Somebody in chat, sorry, my chat's very small to fit all of the things that I have on the screen at the same time. But somebody mentioned that he plays a character in Cupid Parasite, Keisain Ryuki, he plays in Cupid Parasite, and then he also played Chisato Tachibana from Call X Malice. This is the one, the next one, who's played Ibuki, is played by Nogomi Sho. This one I'm really excited for. I think if you've watched my Cafe on Shantae run, then you know that I had been pretty... I was really, like, I liked Dromi's voice acting, like, a tremendous amount, but understood why the character wasn't popular. He is an uncapable character in a very capable world, where everybody here has the ability to do amazing things. You have this character, Dromi, who can't do anything, right? And so that makes him very hard to like. But I thought that he did a really, really, really good job as the character himself, right? And I was like, wow, the voice acting is really, really good. Like, he just, like, killed it, and it made the character so much. But it still drove me. And so it's a hard character to like, but you can enjoy and appreciate the voice acting outside of that. I am excited to see him in a main role. That's really what I'm, like, super excited to see from him, is that he's going to play a main role character, and to have him play what that entails. I think I'm very excited for. So then we have Mamiya Ayamu, who's played by Chiba Shoya. I actually don't know a lot about this character, or this voice actor specifically. I think he had some he had some roles for otomes before, but I hadn't noticed anything like one of the big main characters or anything like that. He doesn't have a lot of main roles in animes for the most part, at least from the ones that I've seen, but had played in a ton of shows that I really like, specifically like Fire Force and Banana Fish and Dororo. Hugo is played by Arthur Lonsberry, which is the most American name that I had heard so far. I should say Western. I believe he's English. But it played a character from a show that I thought, like, didn't turn a lot of heads. It kind of looked a little bit weird because it was a lot of 3D. And he played Kai Yamato in Project Scarred. And I thought that was he did pretty good in that. So I'm very excited for that one. Next one, Barry Crepes is beating me to it. So Takato Tokido is voiced by Yashiro Taku. He had played 3 roles I really, really liked. He played Vulcan in Fire Force, which is the sort of the tinkering character in that show. He played Shindo in Horimiya. Listen, if you're in Horimiya, I'm going to like you. That's like the bottom line. You guys don't understand. Like, I love that show. I love that show so much. It might, at the end of the year, outside of Fruits Basket, which is kind of unfair, because Fruits Basket is not only had its second run, so it basically got to learn from its mistakes the first time, but also had, such a long time of it being adapted from its original manga. Other than that, so far, Horimiya is going to win it for me for romance show of the season. Helba, you don't have to make fun of me, all right? You don't have to make fun of me. I know that I'm talking about Horimiya more than once, okay? Okay, I know. But I like it a lot. And I don't get to talk about it much, but I get to talk about it a little bit today. So I'm going to go and stop talking about it for like another month and a half until somebody brings it up to me again, and then I get to talk about it again. But until then, I have this to talk about, so bear with me. Bear with me until then. At this point, I'm just going to start turning streams on and just start talking about anime instead. And then I don't have a lot for this one either, but Tomitsuka Ryo is voiced by Masayama Takeaki, who played another character in Project Scarred with Ron Washimine, and played Noel in Galtia. Bro, Like I said, you just pull, you just go to the opening otome banger factory. Literally, they just walk into the front door. They're just like, hey, can I get one banger, please? And then they're just like, cool, thanks. One banger, here you go. Yeah, those are the 4 games. I'm very, very excited. Like I said, I am new to this genre. but I'm not new to the excitement that comes from seeing new titles, favorite old title get a sequel. So I'm just seeing everybody lose their minds over the 4 new games. That was really like, it made me really, really happy. It made me really happy to see all you guys so happy. Which one am I looking forward to the most out of the 4? I think Lover Pretend. Again, just the sort of the rom-com side of my life, like my heart, like I love that. I think that making this in my head and then having it somewhat be put into a game makes me very, very excited for it. But you know, I am going to be super excited for 1926. I'm going to be super excited for 1926 because it's going to be the first time I am going to sort of like, this first time I'm going to play a story-driven game and get a sequel out of it. Like a sequel, not a fan disc, a sequel. When I asked Anne, like, what a sequel meant for a game with multiple routes, I was really, really surprised. Because I have played games that have had that, but like, usually a lot of the times when you get games like that have multiple routes, all the routes are getting sequels. That's crazy to me. And very excited for it because like one of the things I was like, it blew me away when I first did it was when I first did Nicola's route. I got his bad ending and I was like, this ends like this? What? Hello? What do I do now? And then like, we're getting 1926. So I'm like, okay, now I'm going to know what happens next. What if what's cool about this is that all the bad endings don't need to stay bad, you know? That's the cool part. Like, there's definitely in my head a way where Nicola's bad route turns into a good route or ends well. Like, it's difficult. The way that story goes is very grim, but it's possible, and I think it would be cool. And I think that Pio Fiore is written well enough to the point that the writers are like, or I should say, I think the writers are so talented that they can do that sort of writing. So thank you guys so much, everybody who's been in chat today. Thank you guys for joining me again, for me being a big dork and gushing on stream. I hope we get to do it again. I am so excited to play Olympia Soiree with you guys. You guys don't even know. I'm so excited to play Olympia Soiree with you guys. And that will be out September 9th, sooner than later. In the meantime, let's get some more Pio Fiore down and get ready for that sequel, huh? We will do a spoiler chat. One day, and we'll set it up in the future so everybody can get ready, get the game going, and then we'll all sit together and we'll talk about the game. How much fun does that sound? I'm super excited for it. Thank you guys. I guess have a good Thursday. Have a good rest of your weekend, and take it easy. Bye.